sun rising tomorrow is a fact. If someone bets you and says tomorrow the sun won't rise, you should take the bet, you'll probably win it. However, there is a possibility that the sun won't rise because, and I'm still quoting you, there is no necessary guarantee of facts. Reason cannot attain the necessary guarantee of facts. Still, we rely on facts, and facts are distinct from beliefs, because beliefs do not rely on repeated observation. They do not rely on any kind of proof, and yet you can feel them as strongly with the same amount of certitude as we do in facts, like the sun will rise tomorrow. So I believe that objects contain emotion. And I believe that because I also believe that my emotions do not originate within me, nor do they terminate in me. I am not the beginning nor the end of my emotions. Because I believe emotions are wave-like sensations that pass through me and are somehow perhaps altered or changed or incorporated by me, but they don't begin with me and they don't end with me. And the reason I believe this is because I accept certain versions of psychoanalytic theory, particularly D.W. I believe that my emotional life was developed and determined through my sensual contact with others, through touch, through holding, through heat, through the tone and timbre of voices. The contact with my caretakers is the field through which I developed my emotional capacities. And these emotional capacities were developed in relationship to objects. And those objects are charged with a tremendous amount of significance because I also have a sensual relationship to those objects. Objects cause sensations, they're the repository of sensations, they are charged by use, and they are charged with the significance of memory. All of these connections are supported by and made possible by sensations. So that means I believe that the basis of consciousness is sensation. And consciousness might be more than that, meaning might be more than that, but meaning and significance of consciousness are reducible to sensations. It's the only way that they can be embodied. So I believe that objects contain emotions, and I think that that is consistent with what's been proposed for this show. In the press release of this show, the statement is made that objects have agency, and that statement is attributed to Bruno Latour. And I haven't read Latour, so I don't know. But I suspect that what I'm saying, that objects contain emotions, is similar to saying that objects have agency, in that we respond to and act with objects as we would act with others. Right? You following me? Yeah. Making sense? So, if we're all looking at a sad painting, or even a funny painting, we're all looking at a painting, and we think that it's sad. Where is the sadness located? Is the sadness located in the painter, in the painting, or in the viewer? This is a very old question. This is like a mid-20th century question, right? And I would argue that I believe that the sadness is located in all three of these places. In fact, it arises through the combination of relations among all three positions. And that the sadness, therefore, is a material component of the painting. This is a weird thing to believe, because many of us in this room, some of us in this room, actually staged the critique of abstract expressionism. others, most of us in this room, inherited the critique of abstract expressionism. And the critique of abstract expressionism, as far as I learned it in art school in the early 80s, was that that mark on the canvas is not the authentic trace of the painter's emotions. That it's merely a sign that we read as that emotion because it falls within an image repertoire of kinds of expression. And we learn to read these gestures of emotion as signs, as mental representations. Now, I'm not going to argue that I believe that the gesture in the abstract painting is, in fact, an authentic trace of the painter's emotions. I am going to, however, argue that the mark on the canvas is a transcription of some sensation that occurred for the maker, and that the mark itself is a residue or a trace, and is in fact a sensation itself, productive of other sensations in the viewer. So what I'm saying is objects contain emotions, but they do so impersonally, and that the emotion that's contained in the mark on the canvas is actually not distinct or different in kind from the tension in the weave of the canvas.